it's Abby.
And it's Aaron.
Welcome back to the Brigade. You remember Aaron from our season 2 of Voltron trailer reaction, because we were very hyper and weird at the time, and we just got through with season 3 last night.
Voltron continues to hurt. It's pain. That is all it is.
I have hereby dubbed our feels DOA, dead on arrival.
Oh,
They're just dead. Aaron, if you do not mind, I would like to take a moment of silence for our feels, if that would be okay with you. But no, we're here to talk about, obviously, the lot of unanswered questions rather than answered questions we had of this season, and predictions that will lead into season 4. Yay!
If you guys have not watched season 3 yet, there will be a lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
Like,
and what's wrong with you?
Video.
You seriously haven't watched it by now? I mean, I know it's only day 1, but come on!
Anyway, if you guys haven't seen the season yet or haven't finished it, just be
Come
advised,
back.
this video is probably going to be loaded with spoilers.
Because we are going to spoil everything.
Good
hug of everything.
We're here to rant, okay?
Yes, we are here to rant about everything.
So, first impressions on season 3, it was just like, okay, well,
from beginning to end was just jam-packed, just full of stuff.
Conflicted feelings all around. Oh my god. Like, I could not keep it together the entire time that we were watching it.
I was just happy to see our space babies back.
Oh my god.
It's back in action. Just like, it's like a reunion where you come back, you're like, I've missed you! And then they're gone like that again,
Yeah.
and you realize, we gotta wait till the next family reunion.
Well, first things first, there were a lot of loose ends with season 3 that I was not good with, because, they gave out a lot of questions, but there weren't enough answers to cover those questions. You know, and a lot of them surround very specific characters. For example, in the very first episode, you see Pidge reviewing footage of her brother being let out.
Which is confirmation that her brother is still out there.
That's true.
And he's alive.
Dad's chop suey, apparently.
Yeah, I keep thinking that her dad is dead, and I hate to be that person, but it's just... You hear nothing about the dad, it's all about her brother. I'm like thinking, ooh, is he dead somewhere? Because I don't even
I don't know, but...
that would be awesome. Well, if we have to get one out of this deal, figured the brother.
Anyway, you saw Pidge reviewing the footage, and she's talking about the different aliens and how they've got mixed armor sets. And she suggests the fact that there are freedom fighters out there, going against the Galra. But the problem that I had with that was, 1, there was no follow-up on Matt at all for the rest of the season, and 2, we only see an example of freedom fighters once, and they're not given any real significance whatsoever.
They're just like, we're kind of here, but we're not going to do anything.
Yeah. Honestly, they really, fueled the need for comedy relief within that depression trip of an episode where everybody was screaming.
We will get to that and our emotional just our emotional splurge that happened. These writers are just intent on killing us. So yeah, that was interesting. How well you remember from the first season with those aliens, Rolo and Naima. Mm-hmm. You remember how he mentioned, they're not too many, but he did mention there are a few. Like, so there are people out there. We just don't know where they are. They don't have a collected, they're not unified. They're out there separately, but they're not one big giant group. It's not like the Rebel Alliance from Star Wars type thing. So I'm wondering, are they going to lead into that, where they're all going to get together, or is it just going to be a separate rebel cell type thing?
Honestly, I'd like to see a side arc.
That would be interesting.
Of just some freedom fighters and their struggles. That
cool. Would be awesome. Just a band of ragtag pirates just trying to stick it to the Galra.
Another thing that I wasn't really down with was how Shiro's disappearance wasn't really explained, other than, oh, yeah, the Black Lion, it has a teleportation ability, and it just decided to teleport you to the other side of the fucking system.
On a Galmer ship, you're just like, what the hell? It's very confusing.
Like, Black Lion, you've earned its respect. You know, you can fly it, you have mastery over it, you know, Zarkon's out of the picture. But for whatever reason, it decided to transport Shiro all the way to the other side of the system.
On a freaking Galmer ship.
You know, and then we got revealed to us that there is a possible, like, cloning issue going on with Shiro. Like,
what is happening?
I'm sorry, writers, but what are you doing?
I looked up that word they were speaking, that we thought it was clone. It's corrode, or corone or something.
In Japanese, that means clone.
No! I was looking it up in, like, foreign dictionary, and it means thanks in, I don't know, Swahili or something. No! Are you serious? No!
Anyway, when I came across that, like,
no!
Do we really need complications with cloning technology? And then why would they be cloning Shiro of all people? What if the Shiro that was flying the Black Lion was a clone, and the one that just
or what
woke
if it
up
was the original? It was the original Shiro, and he's don't know where, and this new one is the clone.
No, I would think that it's the real one.
Really?
That they've been copying things from because he had such
the
long
original.
hair. Yeah,
but he remembers Voltron.
Yeah, but that they could have easily imported his memories, if anything. You know, this is
That's
sci-fi.
Oh my god,
let's be real.
They're putting all this continuity in there and all this other crap, and you're just like, are they going to sit down and just explain this?
It's very confusing and it's very discombobulating. So when when Shiro does return to the team, you know, and he's back, it's very uncomfortable because you think like, okay, well, is this the Shiro that we know and love? Is
this our Shiro?
Or is this a clone that's going to come back to bite them in the ass later? And I really hope that's not the case.
Then he mentions that he has like a headache. Like I just have this really bad headache. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? Why?
Subtle details that make you so uncomfortable.
I know. I'm like not comfortable with him. I was kind of just glaring at him all through the rest of the season. I'm just like, are you a clone?
I really don't want him to be.
That would be an interesting twist. It'd
be interesting, but it'd be frustrating because that entire episode where it's his struggle to get back to the team is entirely in vain. Unless if you consider the clone to be the same Shiro.
I don't know. It could. I'm kind of getting like a Young Justice, Roy Harper type thing here, where they had the original. They took the arm for blood type thing to keep the DNA fresh.
I just hope that he doesn't turn out as salty.
I don't think he would. Shiro's just like the purest baby. So I'm kind of getting like Roy Harper Arsenal flashbacks here. How there was like the original. They took the arm to keep the blood DNA flowing. And the one Roy Harper that was there all the time was the clone, but he obviously didn't know that.
On another topic, though, another thing that was kind of a loose end that was driving me nuts, you know, was the fact that the Lions, you know, red, blue, and black were just like, okay, everybody pass your paladins to the left.
Everyone, the person sitting next to you, switch!
Basically, it's almost as if the struggles that they went through with their Lions didn't really mean anything when it came down to them switching up the team.
It made me sad. Well, it's not their fault. The Lions are just being dicks.
Exactly, that's my point. Like,
it's not the pilot's fault. It's just the Lions are like, no,
you know, you think
we're gonna be
things
sassy.
Are, you know, sentient machines that have their, you know, have the utmost loyalty for their paladins, you know, and it's earned. Mm-hmm. You know, they spent all those episodes training with them and learning about their Lions
and respecting
and getting to know them
and all that.
And then suddenly their, you know, Lions drop them on the corner and just like, okay, you belong to this one now.
Yeah, they're like, fuck it, drop kick them to the next person. It's like,
not to mention that the Black Lion didn't react to Shiro whatsoever, like
until it was convenient for plot.
Exactly, and I'm just sitting there like,
it's just like la-di-da in space. Shiro, wing!
Yeah,
gotta go save
real.
Space Dad. It's just like, wait, what? What? What is this? And he was gone for hell knows how long.
Yeah, he says, how long have I been gone? And the question is not answered.
The first time he was abducted, it was a full year.
Ooh.
Apparently Shiro's hair grows really long when he's like in space for like 6 months. I don't know how that works. Again, Shiro is the Winter Paladin. Is like I'm getting total Winter Soldier vibe here. But I think the clone theory might be better than the idea of a tracking device or being a sleeper agent. For the Galra. Because I had that whole theory that there was a tracking device in his arm, and I felt bad that wasn't used. I felt like that would have been really cool, but no, we have to have Zarkon be connected to the Black Lion, because, yeah.
Another loose end was the Galra female that they encountered in the Weblum. It is, confirmed that she was the pilot that Keith found.
Yes.
But there was nothing else covered there. And I think that was
one there was, no, oh, I remember you. There was no, interaction with them, just a stare and a memory. And it's just oh, I remember you. But they don't address that. They're like, oh, I remember you. Oh, thanks for getting me out of there.
And again, that might be,
Build up.
The 7 episodes. They didn't have time for that.
Yeah, let's be honest. They jam-packed a shit ton.
I mean, if they didn't release it any sooner, everybody was about ready to have a cow. So.
Speaking of cow, where is Kaltenecker?
Where the hell is the cow?
They killed it and made space hamburgers.
I really hope that's not the case.
I know, but I'm feeling like that's the way they're going because creators are not bringing back Kaltenecker.
I don't think any one of them knows how to butcher a cow.
Karan? No, I'm just kidding. Karan has many hidden talents. I don't think butchering wildlife is one of those.
I mean, he's a space fashion pirate.
Yes, I knew Karan's ancestors were pirates. I called it.
Oh, God.
You can ask Anna about that. I told her that. She's like, yeah, I could see that making sense.
Yeah.
Oh, what I want to talk about is Allura becoming the new...
Blue Paladin. Okay.
Blue Paladin.
Okay. One more thing before we go there.
You're gonna mention what I know you're gonna mention, aren't you?
The armor isn't matching.
Oh my God!
How are they doing?
But it's how they do it in the 80s!
I'm about to lose my shit.
Oh my God. If
they gotta match.
If they do that next season, will you be happy? I'm saying
yes! Yes!
Oh. Aaron and Robin and the girls were complaining about that all night. It doesn't match. Like, seriously, this is the most pressing issue.
Okay, if I didn't have OCD, God damn it, I have it now.
God. There's a new pen. You're welcome. Yeah, so I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say it. I knew it. I was very happy when I had a feeling when it was gonna happen and the force field came down. Like, yes! Yes! It's happening!
And Lance over there in the Red Lion, like, doesn't this thing have brakes?
It goes so fast. It's like, oh, you're so not used to it. It goes a lot faster than what he's used to. Which I didn't even think about them doing. I thought, they could control this. Well, they can control the speed and all that, but the Lion just moves a lot faster.
Yeah. I mean, Blue has a lot more maneuverability, and it's elemental-based. Echolocation. Excuse me. Why didn't they think of that sooner? Just kidding. But when it comes to Blue, it can move better in water, sonar. It's actually a sea cat. No one can tell me different. Mercat, sea cat.
It literally is.
Sea cat. But going on the topic of our favorite paladins in terms of characters, I think the two who grew the most in terms of maturity and whatnot were Lance and Allura. Definitely. Because Lance was finally owning up to the fact that, he wants to contribute to the team in a way that's useful, and he was offering some good insight, and he was willing to accept that he has to step away from Blue, step up on Red, and respect Keith as his leader. And he would even go and confide in Keith when Shiro came back. They had that honest, true moment between them where they're like, here's the deal, I'm going to be vulnerable and say what's on my mind and just be like, listen, I'm fully aware that this might become an issue, happen, and I'm okay with that. I just want you to know that I'm okay with it. And I'm just like, holy shit, that was a real step up for him. And I've explained that I didn't like him very much in the beginning. I thought he was fine. I didn't hate him. Yeah, he was good for comedy relief, but he wasn't really showing any signs of growth.
I didn't hate him compared to other characters in shows that I despise.
Yeah, until this season where he was finally just like, okay, time to be serious, and grow up.
He really stepped up, and I really enjoyed that. Like how Allura really stepped up in season 2, and she had that moment with Keith where she was just like, I am sorry I've been this way. She really stepped up in a big way, and I felt like that was a really good resolve for her.
Then we have the topic of, who developed the most with their lion. Of course, I think that's Allura.
Oh, yeah.
When she was having difficulty figuring out Blue, and then she was finally like, I cannot do this without your help.
Oh yeah, she was being all, you need to listen to me, I command you, I am your paladin, I'm bonding with you!
And then she got the clap back at Lotor, and it was,
that was
so satisfying.
And then I realized that in this season, you have a lot of characters being vulnerable. You have that moment where they're either vulnerable with themselves or vulnerable with each other. There's a lot of that in this season. And really what happens when Allura just clicks with the lion is when she's just like, I need to be vulnerable with you, this is what's going on, and it just clicks.
It just, it's very interesting though, because in the very first season when Allura was talking about what kind of paladin pilots which lion,
yeah, they bring that up in this season, and I've kind of always wondered that, like, how do you know?
Well, no, that wasn't what I was going on about. But the fact was, like, Allura knew the qualities of each lion, but she never mentioned Blue. So we're more or less learning about Blue in our own way.
In this season.
I think, Blue, Blue, very deep character.
Very deep, very well developed.
I mean, like, I'm not lying.
No, I believe you.
Like, they left the mystery there, and we're slowly figuring out more and more about Blue, so maybe he's actually more difficult to pilot than we originally realized.
Maybe it was. I thought it was really interesting how Allura wanted to pilot the Red Lion.
Oh, yeah, because her dad was the one who
So it's now confirmed we now know who the original paladins are, and...
That episode was... Oh,
that was a good one.
The last episode.
Funny thing, I mentioned this with the girls a long time ago. I thought that that Voltron was piloted by all Alteans because it was Altean made. And I'm thinking, they don't want to share this thing, so...
See, when,
I'm glad I was proven wrong, though, because it works really well.
In Season 1, my boyfriend, Kaylin, and I, we had this theory where...
It was Lower Room. Go and subscribe to them. They are awesome.
Ace Attorney. Express Series.
I love
that. All voice act. Anyway.
It's phenomenal.
Each of the lions, we had this theory, like, probably all of the paladins were different, races because the lions were hidden on all different planets. So, their paladins would have had to know the way to their own homeworlds, right? And of course, since the Galra homeworld was destroyed, that would explain why the Black Lion was kept in the castle.
And, an evil dictator was trying to take them for his own personal gain.
But that doesn't explain how Red wound up in Galra's hands.
It doesn't explain that. I'm kind of that's another unanswered question.
Very curious. But in terms of the character that grew the least, okay, here's where my okay,
I feel like I should back away.
At this point, this is where, like, if a family member asks you to pass the salt, I'd be the one you'd be passing over the table.
Just go.
But
flush
I do not think that Keith grew at all, or earned his right to the Black Lion, or earned his right to be the leader of the team.
You're for against. I'm for. Ding, go. Plead your case. Debate time. Yeah.
Every single time that Shiro was brought up and Voltron was brought up, he would throw a fit, saying that we can't form Voltron.
There you go.
There's no Shiro, there's no Voltron, there's no way we can do this whatsoever, and it took the entire team to calm him down. In the episode where they went into, where they were following Lotor and they followed him into that gas giant with all the electric...
Which was awesome. That was an awesome fight scene.
He was, losing his mind. He was just like, we gotta get after him now. He didn't care whether or not anybody was being left behind. For example, Allura, who was falling behind. He wasn't willing to wait for her. He wasn't willing to listen to them and regroup, and he jeopardized all of their safety. And it took them all the way up until,
maybe
everybody was on their
3 or something.
Yeah, when everybody was on their last legs for him to be like, I screwed up and I need to fix this. But it took him at least 10 hissy fits before he figured out, okay, I have to step back for a minute and I have to think of everyone else. And yes, that goes back to his lone wolf personality, but he's been working in a group for 2 seasons. So the fact of the matter is, like, that he hasn't learned about, working in a team up until now, proves that he didn't have a whole lot of growth going on. And when it came to Shiro coming back, it took Shiro to tell him, you need to make a decision when it came to either going after Lotor or getting after, sorry, the, Teledove.
Oh yeah, they made the giant new Teledove.
I'll be right back.
Okay. celebration. We might edit this. Might. I don't know. Space Cow.
I'll cut that out.
I was gonna say, I said we'll edit this. Or not. Who knows? Yeah, continue.
Anyway, that being said, I don't think Keith did a whole lot of growing at all. He still needs people to talk to him, so, he knows what's right and what's wrong. His indecisiveness is his biggest weakness, and he's starting to realize that, but, before he never had an issue with being like, we need to do this, and we need to do it now, but when it came to a conflicting decision, he'd be like, which one do I pick? I need to go after that, but, and everybody's just sitting there like, it doesn't make sense. And he would go, we need to get after them now, otherwise we're not going to have another chance. And it's just like, well, are you willing to sacrifice one big loss for another that will, another opportunity that will come back and present itself? He didn't have a level head whatsoever. He would always be like, because he wasn't getting what he wanted in terms of the mission. And it drove me nuts. I'm just like, grow up. You're literally throwing everybody out into the open by not giving them the confidence that they need.
I was going to say confidence.
Yeah. And
I would have said that.
That comes from his indecisiveness and the fact that he can't work with his teammates to decide on something because it's his way or the highway. Especially if, the risk is high. If it's a high-risk situation. Your turn.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what to say now. Well, I can totally understand why you feel that way, but everyone was just, in the group last night when we were watching, everyone was just, hating. I'm just like, guys, be calm, be chill. It's gonna be okay. And I can understand your points of view. I'm not trying to change that at all. There are probably people out there who are either one side or the other side saying, yeah, he was being kind of a dick, or you can understand why he was. I mean, I can understand
he was
why.
Just acting like a child.
Yeah.
Like, what are you, 5?
I can understand why, because he did lose Shiro, one of his oldest, longest friends, who was kind of a mentor to him, and he's just like, he's in a very awkward position right now, because he's kind of thrusted into this leadership role with no prior training to it. It'd be like, yeah, I don't know how to do this. And I figured, in these kind of situations, anyone would act a certain way. Anyone would act differently. They're not sure what... I am not a leader, personally, in that kind of position. It just doesn't work for me. I'd rather be more of a follower. I'd be like, yes, I will go do this. It'd be no problem. So I can understand why he was being a little bit angsty, because he's angry. He's dealing with a lot right now. And Season 2 was really dealing with him growing as an individual, because he was trying to figure out what his past was all about, which we still don't know. But we'll get to that. This season definitely was building him more as a leader rather than an individual. And I thought that was better than what they could have done prior. So, yeah, I could understand why he was being this way. I didn't like it, but I could understand why.
I got a few rebuttals for that, though.
Oh, fine. We should call this Voltron Season 3 debates.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, that's sort of what it is. But when it came down to you saying that he lost one of his closest friends and sort of a mentor, Shiro was like that for everyone. And the fact of the matter...
But he knew him longer.
No. Everybody found him at the same time.
No, you don't know their prior history? Prior? Before they found him on the garrison? They mentioned that in Season 2, Episode 1? My life would have turned out a lot differently if you hadn't come into it?
Well, yeah, he was a role model for everybody.
Oh, no, previously! They knew each other longer, I swear, I'm not effing with you.
No, I think I would know if that was the case.
Okay.
Anyway, but you were saying that he had no training prior. That's not true, because Shiro was with him the entire time when he was going to the Blade of Malmora, For
that one episode!
He was telling Keith, if, I die, I want you to lead Voltron.
Yeah, but that's not leading, that's telling.
Well, no. But the fact of the matter was, he spent a lot of time with Keith in the previous season, I think. More than any of the other characters. And most of the time, it was just him offering Keith advice. patience yields focus. That was from season 1. And Shiro was more or less trying to teach him, grooming him into being a leader. So yes, he did have training before that. And when Shiro came back, he was still teaching him, like, you need to make a decision now. So Keith did have, have the teachings from Shiro. He had the example to follow, that he didn't, and everybody missed Shiro. They were just dealing with it in their own way.
Especially
and the fact of the matter was, yes, the first, stage of grief is, one of the first is anger. But his was almost like over the top. And I mean, yeah, I feel like that the other paladins should have had more of a reaction to when Shiro left.
Left.
Okay, he wasn't dead. I was going to say died, okay?
He was missing. Didn't leave, wasn't dead, just was missing. Question mark. I'm calling it missing. Because he wasn't dead and he didn't leave.
Alright.
What? He didn't!
Okay, it's whatever way of words you want to pick. But the fact of the matter was, no, I really don't agree with his behavior whatsoever and how he chose to more or less lead. So I'm hoping that he'll come into his role a little bit more next season and hopefully show us that, yes, he can grow up a little bit, he can be more mature in terms of his character development, but honestly, the person with the most level head right now is probably Lance. He's more willing to confide in his fellow paladins than anybody else.
Woo!
And that is why, growing up Hispanic, no, I'm kidding.
Oh my god, shut up!
Spoiled youngest child,
okay.
what?
Okay, speaking of roles, what is Shiro's role going to be in the future? Because he's not a paladin anymore? Because Black Lion be like, nah, bruh, you ain't mine anymore.
I feel like he's overseeing operations just like Allura did in the previous seasons now.
Yeah, but that kind of sucks then, because that's really just sitting on the sidelines.
I mean, he could have killed him and we could have all cried.
Yeah,
but
Show is being like, nah, we don't want to hurt them that much. I keep predicting that he's gonna steal Lotor's
ship.
Comet ship, and that's gonna be like his
thing. But the thing was, like, all the Galra women were piloting it, so it's like another Voltron.
That's true.
Question mark.
Don't know how they were all fitting in that thing. I need to see some schematics of that thing. Just be like, oh, you sit here, 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 and here.
Yeah.
That was fun.
But you saw that Lotor was overseeing the his squadron as they were flying the ship. So Shiro's kind of like filling the same role. He is the head on the the second head on the shoulders, so to speak. So yes, Voltron has a team leader, but it also has like an advisor saying, okay, this is the best course of action. And Shiro's got the military background for that, so when Keith is like scrambling, Shiro's just like, dude, make a decision.
Like, dude.
Either that or he's gonna tell him like, alright, here are your options, if you do this, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. Pick your poison. I'm
really just hoping that he doesn't resort to sitting on the sidelines in season 4. Like, he's gonna be productive.
You know he will be.
Oh, yeah.
He's Soldier Boy. Come on.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the bestest episode of this whole entire season. Just the alternate universe. Where you thought it was time travel, and I was so on board with that. There are no words for how glorious this is.
Shiro and Slav working together, excuse me.
It was Sven and Slav. Where the hell is Slav in the rest of this season?
Probably hiding under a rock screaming about how realities aren't going to work out.
And where did the Blade of Monmara go?
Oh yeah, that's another loose end.
That's another thing, real quick. Where did they go? They're like,
we're there for 2 episodes, and then they're just like, bye.
You're on your own. Bye-bye. Yeah, that was weird. No, alternate universe episode. That was awesome. First off, I don't know how they made the giant portal thing to wormhole thing. Was that just there? And
I mean, the alternate reality is the same thing as like the break that was in the Galra homeworld.
No, that makes sense then.
Yeah, it was just another rift that they were trying to close.
Just one of those real soft spots in space and time, and you just punch a hole.
That doesn't necessarily make sense because the spot that they opened up on the Galra homeworld was filled with quintessence. So
maybe they're like in certain specific areas.
Well, yeah, they did say that it was pure quintessence, though, but I guess that wormhole was a little different than the other one, since it wasn't just, like, filled with quintessence.
And it wasn't just, like, in space. It was, like, on a planet. So, I don't know. That's an interesting thing.
Spooky.
So, yeah. So, in the alternate universe, the Alteans are viewed as the villains.
As the Gara.
Yes, as the Gara, which I found very interesting. Mm-hmm. So, they've been, like, controlling the planet, the universe for
10,000 years.
Probably as long as the Gara have. I cannot see that as a suitable amount of time for an empire ruling.
Doesn't need to be longer.
No, it just feels like it's ridiculously long. Just like 50 years, like 100 years would be okay. But no, 10,000, that is just concerning. Like, not concerning like in just regular sense, just like, this doesn't make much sense and I can't really believe it.
Yeah.
It's,
anyway,
if they made it shorter, then maybe I would. Yeah, they've only been ruling
I think the last question that I have is, like, so we've confirmed that Hagar was an Altean, and she was married to Zarkon, but there's no real confirmation on whether or not Lotor is connected to the two. Why was he exiled? You know, what's his big thing?
What's his dealio?
My theory is that, like, he's trying to find a way to save his parents from themselves and their addiction to quintessence, but I feel like that's kind of far-fetched considering, you know, in the
all the other crap he's done.
In the season 4 trailer, he was saying, like, my father's on his deathbed, I'm in control.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I don't really get his motives.
I don't either, and they were saying that he's going to be a more relatable villain. So
I always love relatable villains.
Because then you're just like,
bestest.
who's wrong? Oh my god, I'm gonna...
And you kind of understand him, like, in the first few episodes and how he wants to rule the Galra Empire. He's like,
and then he
my father tried to do this, this, and this, and I'm like, no, I want to do this. And I'm like,
then he
wait,
attacks one of his own bases, question mark?
I'm very confused. See, the show is not giving us answers, and that's okay. We don't need all the answers in one season, but the things from season 1, you can at least explain this far along.
That's true.
It's like, it's season 3 already. Can we, like, get some answers?
That'd be nice. But
it would be.
That would be too simple.
I know. Damn it!
To wrap up, I think season 3 was a roller coaster of emotions, and I just want to die
From
now.
beginning to end, it was definitely more entertaining.
And now I get to suffer all the way through August and September, all the way to October when it comes out on the 14th.
Yes!
Where I'll be in college and screaming.
It's like something days away. I texted you the image. Hold on, I have it somewhere. It is... It's on my countdown app. Yes, I have one of those. Hold on. 68 days, 11 hours, 20 minutes, and 37 seconds.
But, from an artist viewpoint, I commend the animators for being able to...
Love these people so much. Just love them.
Like, the thing is, like, cranking out that many episodes in such a short window of time from season, 2 to season 3.
And season 4 is literally right around the corner.
Like, I'm surprised that they don't have carpal tunnel right now, because this is 2D animation.
How are, like, none of them dead?
With CGI
just, like, so dead.
Give them a break. Like, give them a smoothie or something. They deserve it. Like,
I think this show won, like, a Primetime Emmy Award.
It should have.
It should have won, like, a shit ton of stuff.
Like, I'm excited to see where they go with it next.
And on the plus side, it's renewed for, like, 3 more seasons. So, this is going to be, like, a long time coming.
And then there's, like, Young Justice who can't even figure out
what the release date is. Now, if only we can get Warner Brothers to get off their asses and release a release date for season 3 of YJ. It's like, nope.
Like, Voltron's wiping them out in terms of competition right now, so, like, they gotta step up or step aside.
They have their shit together, where Warner Brothers is just like,
lol, DreamWorks.
Don't got nothing for you, Young Justice fans.
Well, anyway, we hope that you enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun to talk about.
Comment, like, subscribe, do all that. Subscribe to the Lower Room, and what about you ladies at lower room? Do you guys even have a channel?
We don't have, the ladies of Lower Room, we don't have a channel, just us girls, but several of us do have blogs on Tumblr. Mine is RANT's Theory. I'm under Aldora Grimm. It's mostly an art blog.
Art blurg. We'll put it in the link in the description.
You'll see me ranting about different stuff.
And you'll see her beautiful artwork, because it is beautiful. And it's fabulous. And your t-shirt. Show them your t-shirt. She made that.
It's acrylic paint.
Erin makes beautiful things in the world, and I love her for it. So, excited for season 4. Glad that it's come right around the corner. Hopefully you'll have a few more episodes. Just a few
Hopefully.
more. Hopefully.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Tell us what you think.
And
we'll see you next time.
Love, like us, and subscribe to us, because we have almost 30 subscribers, and I'm very happy! Don't know why. Well, that's why, but yeah, you get the idea. Goodbye. Boop. Didn't do the boop.